What's up, y'all? What's going on? We're about to get into this late night game. And tonight, this is about America's #1 export, which is the nigger. And hopefully, if you notice any traits in yourself, that you could remove it. So I came up with some topics. I needed to sensationalize it because it's a serious thing. And if these traits are inside of you, maybe you can do the work to try to remove the nigger out of you, and it's in you without you even knowing it. So that's why the ebook of mine I'm promoting tonight is Dealings Over Feelings, because this is about putting your dealings over your feelings. This is about you cannot be emotional with this conversation right now, because I'm going to talk about how to create a nigger, and with using 8 steps. And hopefully none of these steps are inside of you. Hopefully you can do the work. If you do recognize something I'm saying, that you can remove it inside of you. And we're born niggas without even knowing it, and it's a self-destruction chip that's inside of us. But what I'm going to need you to do, I'm going to need you to like and share the video because it's super important. But before I get into that, I'm going to make a drink. So I want to say what's good to y'all, because I'm going to be going in, spitting hella game. So I want to make sure I get myself right. All right? What's up with y'all? How y'all doing? All right? So I'm using Tito's tonight. So before I get into the game, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to make me a good drink. So I got my tools, I got my jig, and we're going to get into a good game tonight. And it's about America's Nigger Factory. So this is called a jigger, if you didn't know. All right? So I'm going to pour myself a double. So this is like a 1.5 pour. I spilled something in there too. So I'm finna be nice. I'm about to be nice. So tonight's conversation is America's $1 trillion business, the nigger factory. All right? And hopefully we can help you remove the nigger inside of you. All right? But that's the topic for tonight. So next I'm going to use some... I don't know if you ever used this before, but use this. It's creme de banana. It's a liqueur. It tastes great in vodka. All right? So I'm going to use this, right? Because I'm going to get saucy, and we're going to go in. All right? So I'm going to do a 1.5 count with this. Boom. All right? Give me a second. Superman got to put his cape on. Let me put my cape on real quick. Then I'm going to go in, right? So I'm going to fill this up with pineapple juice. Boom, 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 boom. Fill it up. All right, got some pineapple juice. Then I'm going to top it off with some Midori. I don't know if you ever had Midori before, but it's also a liqueur. It tastes great, especially when you top it off. Right, when you top it off in drinks. I like to use it with pineapple or orange juice, right? So I'm going to do a 1.5 on that one, top it off. Then I'm going to go in. Boom. Cool beans. All right? This is fire. Fellas, if you're chilling with some ladies, drink that drink. So I use Tito's vodka. I use creme de banana. I fill it up with pineapple juice. And I use Midori. All right? So, fire. You ain't even know I was a mixologist, did you? I do that too. Alright, so I wanted to get my drink ready before I go in. Also down below, I posted my ebook, Dealings Over Feelings. If you don't have that, it's a good ebook to go with the topic tonight. If you fuck with my game and you like what I do, and you never purchase nothing from me, that is robbery. But it's all good. We're going to keep it mobbing. So, tonight's topic is America's $1 trillion business. America's $1 trillion business. Now, what is America's $1 trillion business? The nigger factory. America is the creation of niggas, okay? And the nigger factory produces trillions of dollars. And niggas don't die they multiply. You know what I'm saying? So America makes all of its profits on niggas. Now, how is a nigga created? A nigga is a hybrid human, but how a nigga was created was through uh, interfacing with the bottom part of European culture. Okay, so what a nigger is actually a redneck. All right. So all the pathologies that you see that are negative about Black America, it was inherited after slavery from fucking with the bottom part of European culture. Many of the Europeans, through when they had the mass migrations coming to America, many of those Europeans were criminals. Many of them were illiterate. Many of them were very violent. They didn't come with skills. They were the bottom part of the social ladder, believe it or not, in this country. And Black Americans, directly after 1865, inherited a lot of those traits. I'm talking about the bottom part. So a nigger is actually a black redneck. If you look at the behavior of a redneck and look at the behavior of a nigger, it's the same. Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about. So that is the creation of a nigger, because the behavior that many Black Americans have, they did not have in 1870. Okay, they got that behavior by assimilating with the bottom half, the poverty class of European society that came to America. Okay, so now you have what you have. So now you have rednecks and now you have niggas. Interesting. Frankenstein. All right. So this is how you create a nigga in 8 steps. All right. Now follow along, and I hope that you don't have any of these traits. All right. I hope you don't have any of these traits. Now, the first step of creating a nigga is you have to erase the ability to independently think. That is very important. A nigger cannot independently think without the state. All right? So it's the state that controls the mind of a nigger. So the school system, the church, then you also have media. And media is very important because media tells the public what to think, but not how to think. That's very important. It tells the public what to think, but not how to think. And what it does is it sways the public's opinion about topics or people. So, for example, if you're watching a sports game and say the star of the team had a bad performance, the next day the media will curate content that says, has such and such lost a step. Now, you might have not have even been thinking of that, but they put that in your mind. So what the media does is tell you how to feel and what to think about people, places, and things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was crazy. It tells you what to think about people, places, and things, right? So that's very important when you're creating a nigga. You have to kill the ability to independently think, meaning come up with being able to observe using your own intelligence, right? Also, you have to make sure that the nigger is dependent on its culture, black culture in particular. Now, black culture doesn't necessarily exist for real. It's just an ideal. But black culture controls black behavior. And when you're creating the nigger, what you do is you get black culture to police itself. Now, when black culture is policing itself, what is it policing? And inside of the culture, what is it looking for? Black culture is looking for the genius inside of its culture and innocence inside of its culture. And once it finds it, it eliminates it. That's what black culture is programmed to do. It's not programmed to elevate. It's not programmed to elevate the talented in the culture. It's programmed to find the innocent inside of the culture, your innocence, and your genius, and eliminate it. Okay? This is why when you move outside of the culture, you begin to flourish. When you move outside of the culture, you begin to expand. When you move outside of the culture and kind of turn your back on the culture, you find your productivity rises. But inside of the culture, it sucks you dry, and that's what and that's what it's designed to do. It's a program. So what you think about black culture and what it actually is isn't the same thing, right? In your mind, you think of black culture as a utopian, a potential utopian society where these kings and queens and these gods and goddesses. But when you wake up, when you open your eyes and bear witness to the nightmare, you're dealing with fantasy, right? So you can create that culture, but that's not the culture that's on the books, right? The culture that's on the books is a program. It's a simulation, right? So again, the first step to create a nigger is to destroy the ability for the nigger to independently think. Destroy the ability to independently think. And for those that came along, the creation of a nigger is when free blacks begin to assimilate with the the poverty class of Europeans coming into this culture. So a nigger is actually a redneck, right? So you study the behavior of whites coming to this country that were illiterate, that were criminals, that were murderers, that were into crime. Black culture end up adapting that same behavior. So the behavior that black people have now is not from slavery. That is a lie. Black slaves did not behave the way the black people behave now. At one time, black people were the moral fabric of America. Black people were very superstitious people. Black people were very religious people. And black people were not loose and reckless for the most part. This is not my opinion. Check the marriage stats of black culture in the early 1900s and late 1800s. Check the land ownership. Check the business ownership, right? You don't have ratchet culture. You have ratchet culture now because black American culture has assimilated with the bottom part, not the top part, but the bottom part of European culture. Okay? That's not my opinion. That's just what it is, right? Okay. So, the first step of creating a nigger is you have to kill the ability for the nigger to independently think. Okay, so you filter the nigger through Board of Education schools. Then and what that does is it kills the imagination. Okay, so you're not able to think outside the margins of the paper. You're not able to think outside of Sigmund Freud. You're not able to think outside of Napoleon Bonaparte. Okay, you're not able to think outside of the food pyramid that they give you. You're not able to think outside the history that they present to you. Then they filter you through the religious institutions, and what that does is it blocks the ability to activate your spirit man, okay, by giving you demi urges to worship. Okay, let me sip some of my sauce. Because all the world's major deities and the primary religions are demiurges, right? You think it's a god. No, it's a personality that you're worshiping. Do you understand? Because true worship of a source doesn't require words. You would never utter a word. You feel me? You would keep that inward because your natural state is a spiritual state. So you wouldn't use words to corrupt the connection. You would go into the dream world to meet your creator. Do you understand? So when they filter you through the religious institution, it is killing your ability to access your spiritual man, right? Then you filter you through media. Everybody has a TV, right? So you live inside of this matrix and you're downloaded with these ideals and belief systems, and then you start to speak them. It becomes your reality. You are living in a matrix. A matrix is a womb, and you're inside of it. And then the other way is to program the nigger and kill independent thought. Is make the nigger fiend for acceptance from his culture. But the thing about wanting acceptance from black culture, you want acceptance from a program that is trained to seek and destroy you. It's trained to suck you dry. It's trained to kill your innocence and strip you of your genius. And what you think of black culture is, that's not the reality, because black people didn't create black culture. The Matrix created black culture. Do you understand? It's just an ideal inside of people's minds. It doesn't even exist. You can't take me there. Right? So that's the first way you create a nigga, is you kill independent thought. Okay? And this is why in black culture, groupthink is so prevalent. And if you step outside of groupthink, the culture will police you and then cancel you and put you back in check. And because of your need for family and your need of acceptance, you're going to step back in line. And you're going to kill that thought that you had. You access the spiritual man by being independent. Do you understand? Your spirit man is not looking for right answers. It's just looking for acknowledgement. You're a spirit having a human experience. But what the culture does is it strips you away from a spiritual reality and keeps you locked in body. You understand? So it's always uncomfort when it comes to body. Oh, I got to pay my rent. Oh, I need a new car. I need new tires. Oh, I hate to be alone. You're always locked in the human experience, but your number one essence is a spiritual reality, though. Your spirit first, and you manifest here. And the only reason you look like this is because of things move slow right here. But you're a light being first. And what culture does is it takes you away from that and makes you just focus on your body and not the development of the inside of you. So you don't have involution. Make sure you like and share the video. Involution, right? So that's how you wake the spirit man up. Acknowledgement. You got to talk to it. You have to acknowledge it. Because eventually it lies dormant, kind of like a volcano, because it's inactive. So essentially what you're doing is making a telephone call to your own ass. You got to call yourself up. You got to make a phone call to yourself and let that part of you know, I see you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, all people are light beings, just different frequencies. All people are light, though. Okay, so the second way you create a nigger is you make self-control a negative. This is the second way you create a nigger. You teach the nigger that self-control is negative. Again, and this is something that we learn from the culture. This is why the culture is no self-control, right? This is why you see, if you look online, black people are always in situations where they're not controlling themselves and they're taking L's. A nigger has animalistic, impulsive behavior because what a nigger is pure body. You locked inside the body and your mind is shut down. So the behavior of a nigger is pure, animalistic, and impulsive. No one's going to be honest with that. They're going to blame it on economics, right? They're going to blame it on economics. Because a person has no money, that's why they act like that. Well, if that's the case, how do you explain black people from the environment that get money, they still act like that? They still display that behavior. How much money are they getting on the reality shows? $15,000, $25,000 a show? That's a lot. How many episodes are they doing? 15? That's money. How come they still fighting? How come they're still doing that? Right? Look at the blacks that have bread. How come they still display that behavior? I thought it was all about money, right? I thought it was all about money and we just need economic opportunities and shit like that. But when those opportunities come, that behavior still exists. Why? Because a nigger is trapped in his body. Animalistic, impulsive behavior. Niggas don't function in mentalism. Niggas function strictly in emotions. That's why niggas always want to tell you how they feel about something, right? Times when it's time to use the mind, the nigger uses emotions. Niggas is always about feelings. They always want you to know how they feel. And that's what we call keeping it real. Man, I'm just real. No, you're emotional because you don't know how to play the game, right? It's times you got to know when to fold them. It's times you should keep silent. It's times you should shut up and just listen. It's times where you have to have a immune system to withstand fuck shit, right? You know how much money niggas leave on the table because of their emotions? Man, this is just who I am. I'm blah, blah, blah. You a child. That's exactly how a child acts. Kicking and screaming. Kicking and screaming. You feel me? Kicking and screaming. Right? That's all the nigga does is kick and scream. They always want you to know how they feel because they don't function on a mental level because a nigger is body. A nigger is a creation that's trapped in his body from neck down, not neck up. So the nigga never accesses this until something happens and you shock the trauma and you shock the dysfunction out of them. Until then, it's nothing but feelings. Think about your family or think about yourself. Niggas always want you to know how they feel. That's what keeping it real is. Feelings. Nigga, you gotta know what I'm thinking right now. And every time a nigga displays that, it puts someone in a hole. And the person can't be accountable to that. Man, I don't give a fuck. I'm just real. Yeah, and we real broke. And we're always real late. And we really never have shit. Right? And we're really going nowhere. Right? Now, it's smarter to keep it strategic instead of keeping it real. Right? If you are real, then you're real 100% of the time. And you don't have to do nothing to undermine the situation. Keep it strategic. A person that keeps it strategic will always outsmart and outmaneuver a person that's keeping it real. Because when you're keeping it real, what you do is you show your whole hand without even knowing it. You the loudest motherfucker in the room. You the most colorful and animated person in the room because all you do is keep it real. But those that operate with mind are looking at you and they know how to come at you. And what you're doing is you're taking yourself out the conversation. And it feels good at the moment, but then you're the one that's always late on your rent though. Now you need help. Now when it's time to move forward in life, that keep it real shit you're talking about, you can't use it anywhere. Right? All that keeping it real that you're talking about, you can't keep it real. You can't do it. You can't convert it into anything tangible. You feel me? And what you are is a liability. Nobody can take you nowhere outside of that block that you live in, outside of that zip code that you live in, because you're going to fuck the money up. So that's why when deals go down and people making moves, no one calls you. You know what people call you for? When it's time to fight and crash out. They need a crash dummy, so they call you. Because you're keeping it real. Right? A nigga doesn't have an intellectual experience. A nigga's reality is an emotional experience. Because you got to understand something. The average black American, and when I say average, I mean over 50%, collectively in the family, in the bloodline, doesn't have 150-year reading history. Right? What does that mean? That for millions of people classified as African American, they could not read, so they was unable to use imagination. So the only thing they can do was express themselves through emotions. This is where Negro spirituals come from, right? The Negro's experience is tied to the Negro spirituals. That was an emotional expression. This is why niggas are tied to the church the way they are. But when you go to the church and you listen to the music, it's an emotional experience. It's not an intellectual experience, right? It's a cry out and express yourself. Look at the dances. Look at the songs. It's pain coming out of the people, but it's not emotions. I'm sorry, it's not intellect. It's feelings. It's feelings. You're crying out to Jesus. Listen to the choir. Listen to Mahalia Jackson. That is feelings rooted in an experience of people that was denied the ability to use their intellect. Because when you read, you expand your mind, and then you learn vocabulary. And what vocabulary does is it acts as a vehicle, and it takes you different places. Your usage of words creates a different reality for you, right? So when you look at most of the times when Black Americans find themselves in a sticky situations, it's because their emotions got them there. Their feelings undermine their day-to-day. What's my opinion on Black culture moving forward? Black culture is the untouchables. Black culture is a permanent underclass. So I advise you, if you're thinking of having kids, mate very correctly, because Black culture will not move one needle in the next 100 years. In 2010 or 11, Claude Anderson talked about the permanent underclass. If Black people didn't shape up, that's happening. And what that means is Black people will not have opportunity for advancement, because the bubble that they live in will not give them access to anybody moving forward, right? Because the bloodlines have been doing incorrect shit for so long that the children that are produced 10, 20, 30 years from now, they're not going to be able to navigate out of that situation. Black culture will become the new India, the untouchables. It's going to be a caste system. There will be no more rags to riches. There will be no more Jay-Z's. Mark my words. Now, the Blacks that do scale and they do move forward, they're not going to be American born. They're going to be from the Caribbean. They're going to be from West Africa. They're going to be from South Africa. They're going to be from Central and South America. They're not going to be from America. It's a fact. Black America will not move. You had your chance. We had your opportunity. They told you that America was bullshit for you, but that was a trick so you don't get the resources. Now you're not able to get the resources, and it's too late. You will not come out the projects and make it to the top. There will be no more Don Kings. There will be no more rags to riches stories. Listen to what I'm telling you. So right now, while the country is in flux, I advise you to mate correctly. How do we cultivate? I want to read that comment and I'll move forward. How do we cultivate our white class culture, since we are the original white people? We didn't copy white elite. We copied white poor. We copied white trash. We didn't copy the white elite. We didn't copy their success habits. Now, the ones that do, we call them coons. We say they're talking white. The blacks that keep their family structure in order, the blacks that go to school, the blacks that don't have a criminal element to them, the blacks that are squares, we call them coons. We don't like them. So there's a gap, an information gap, because we don't like them. So when they're going to get the resources, why would they come back and seed into people that are dissing them? You feel me? So what they're doing is they're going to mate with each other. Blacks that go to Harvard are going to mate with blacks that go to Yale, instead of mating with a black that went to community college. I'm talking about the Native Americans that were all white. I don't understand the question. If you could explain it to me a little better. I'm not sure what you mean. Okay, so step 3 in creating a nigga. This is step 3. Step 3 in creating a nigga, you must program the language. Very, very important. You must program the language of a nigga. So a nigga has negative language. The word uses that the niggas use, the combination that niggas use, is always in the negative. Words create worlds. Right? Words create worlds. Okay? And that you can copy white elites because they write books. Ray Diallo is a billionaire. He wrote a book called Principles. Warren Buffett has an autobiography. They write books. You can copy. Right? That's the ill shit. That the information is there that for us to copy. There's information about government and how to run it. We can copy. Whatever society, whatever we want to manifest in society, there's information on the books that we can get, right? Great minds have wrote books. Billionaire investors have wrote books and told their success habits. They put it all in books. So what an 80-year-old man, how long it took him to do things, you can read the book in 20 minutes and get his experience. You know what I'm saying? Success habits. Wouldn't it be learning our original habits that we copied by the Europeans? But we're not original though. We're a creation. We're created out of people's minds. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care the color of the people. I care about success. So who's ever winning, we should copy them. If you want to copy the brother from Nigeria, Dankate, Aliko, I think that's his name, the guy that's a billionaire in cement, selling cement, copy him, right? I don't care who it is, but anybody that has success habits, we should mirror that. We should definitely mirror that. You know what I'm saying? So the third step for creating a nigga is control the language. You know what I'm saying? Control the language, right? Niggas have negative language. Words create worlds. The words niggas use create the world that they live in. The words niggas use create the world that they live in. If you blindfold me, right, and put me in a car and drop me off anywhere, I'm gonna know what the environment looks like based on how people talk. Fact. I don't need to see the people. I know I'm gonna be in a low income area by how people use words. Now, in the beginning was the word. Words. We always talk about vibration. What is words and what does it do? Right? When I'm talking, if you can imagine words being shapes and colors, it's things coming out of my mouth. Okay. The words that I use create the world that I live in. When you are a nigger, you are programmed to use words in the negative. So it creates the reality that you live in. Also, listen to black people when they talk about themselves. It's always in the negative. Always in the negative. See, this is why we can't have nothing. We gotta do better. Black people ain't ready for that. This is never on the up and up. But when blacks talk about whites, though, even poor whites, we refer to poor whites as massa, right? Oh yeah, you just doing that because massa told you to. But I might got more money than him. The way we use language when it comes to white people, the way we use language when we talk about white people is always in the aspect of we expect greatness from them, whether people know it or not. And you know I'm not lying. Don't front. Think about all the times when people talk about white people. Yeah, you might say, oh, they're a cave beast, or you might call them white devil, but at the same time, you expect them to be smart and you expect them to be rich. But when it comes to someone that may look like you, the language that you use towards them changes in the negative. Right? Therefore, if a black man is smart or a black woman is smart, there's a surprise there. You're not surprised when a white man is smart. You're not surprised when a white man is rich. Subconsciously, you expect that to happen. But you're surprised if I'm balling. You're surprised if I read books. You're surprised. Why is that? You're surprised if I'm following my dreams. If a white guy tells you he's in college or he's a business owner, subconsciously, you expect that from them. But if it's from me, subconsciously, you're like, nigga, you an Illuminati. How the fuck you pull that off? Instead of getting credit to my genius, remember I told you, black culture strips you for your genius and your innocence. So you're going to attach any success that I may have to I'm sucking dick, I'm getting fucked in the ass, I'm a coon, I'm a sellout, people slapping me. You won't give credit to my genius and say, maybe I studied and maybe, just maybe, I worked harder than everybody and I bust my ass. When you was at the club, I was studying. When you was asleep, I was training, right? That's a problem. But it's from the language. See, if the nigger, in fact, the cure for black sickness is the language. If black people use language better, then the reality would change just like that. The hood would not be no hood anymore. The property level would rise. I promise you, if 1 year, if everybody in a low income environment changed the way that they talked, I guarantee you that low income environment would not be low income anymore. Because once you change the language, now you open up another reality. You open up possibility because you're using language differently. But the third step to creating a nigger is make sure the nigger uses negative language all the time. Right? Listen to hip hop. Listen to hip hop. What kind of language is it? Fuck them niggas from the other side. These hoes ain't loyal. These hoes ain't loyal. Fuck them niggas from the other side. Fuck you haters. It's always somebody hating on you. Somebody, you feel me? We take pictures like this, right? Now, for people that don't have anything, you tell me, is that the right approach to the game? And what makes rap so interesting is because it's prayers. Because 1,000,000 people can be playing one song, right? The same song. And that prayer goes into the ether, right? Now, just to show you how powerful hip hop is and the written language is, Tupac talked about death in his music. He is dead. Big talked about death in his music. His album was called Ready to Die. The other one was called Life After Death. He is dead. Think about your favorite rapper from the 90s. Think about where they were rapping about and look at their life right now. Think about your favorite rapper. What did they used to talk about and where is their life at right now? Right? Your favorite rapper that talked about death and destruction in his music, look at him at 40. Now, you can hate all you want about Jay-Z, but if you heard Reasonable Doubt, if you heard The Blueprint, he always talked about himself in a way of him having shit. He always talked from a perspective that he was going to win. Listen to his music. He never talked about death and destruction. He always talked about himself being affluent, manifesting intangible goods, platinum Rolex. We don't lease, we buy the whole car as you should. He been talking that shit. You know what I'm saying? He been talking that shit. Now look at his position. Right? Now some of my favorite rappers, they talked about pain in their music. They look terrible right now. You feel me? They talked about the hood all day, and I was keeping it real. That struggle rap, and they're struggling now. I thought black don't crack, but it's cracking on my favorite rappers. They look a mess. You feel me? They haven't elevated, right? They haven't elevated to an advisory position. They look hurt in the face. Their body is breaking down because of the way they use language in their music. Why? Because the third step of creating a nigger is control the language. Make sure the nigger uses negative language. Do you understand? And what we do is we say, oh, English, that's a white man's language. Nobody owns language. English is a language of commerce. In fact, English has other nationalities' language in it. Monogamy is a French word. Lasagna, French word, I believe. Right? Some words in English are Sanskrit. English is a word named a language for commerce, for people to do business. No white man owns fucking language. Are you kidding me? It's just a vehicle to use. You know what I'm saying? Spanish is just a language. White people don't own it. See, that's the thinking of a nigger. No one owns language. You feel me? It's a way for us to exchange. It's a way for us to communicate. That's like saying someone owns sound. Right? But that's what a nigga thinks, and now a nigga can't master the language. But when you read the Frederick Douglass books, and check out W.E.B. Du Bois, they had a command on the English language. Every black person in the early 1900s, late 1800s, that was successful had a command on the English language. Listen how they talk. Listen how they use words. It's important for you to have a command on a language because the way that you use language is going to get you where you need to go. You're not going to get there without language. If you don't have much, I guarantee you it's the way you use language. I guarantee you it's the way you talk. There's a correlation between people that have a lot and the way they talk. People that blah, 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 just blah, 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 blah. They don't have shit. People that use language correctly have more. Good question. How do you teach your kids to not be a part of the nigga factory? Teach your kids to think independently. Teach your kids to turn your back on groupthink. Allow your kids to be intelligent and let them turn their back on groupthink. Your kids do not have to think like the black collective. The black collective is trash. The collective is some bright individuals, but for the majority, the collective is trash. And your children have a right to self-define. Your children have a right to view the world how they see it. You don't have to come in and tell your kids about police brutality, automatically putting fear in them, right? As if police are hunting them. Let me tell you something. If a cop wakes up in the morning and they're 50 miles away, right? And by the end of the day, they wind up shooting you, that was just meant to be. Because how did they find you? Out of all people, maybe you and that cop have a karmic tie. Okay? See, people don't think like that. It's deeper than rap. This shit is deeper than Eno Brown. But you don't have to tell your children that you need to fear the police and because they're hunting you. That's automatically making them, they're fucking up their nervous system. Your children shouldn't have a fear in the world outside of not reaching their highest potential. And you teach them language and to problem solve and to get themselves out of any situation. No matter how chaotic it seems, if they tap into their genius, they can reverse any situation because the Kabbalion teaches us that the universe is mental. And if we believe that, and if you believe in God and you believe in yourself and you believe in your deities, then know that you're just a representation of them. So all the characteristics you associate with your deity, you have it in you too. And you can access it and use that energy to change any situation that you're in. Even when you're at your lowest, you can use that and change your situation. So that's how you teach your children not to be part of the nigger factory. Encourage their individuality, encourage them to be independent, and give them positive reinforcement and let them know it's okay to get in that direction. You do not have to teach struggle to your children. We only want positive struggle, the struggle of taking a company that is new and in 5 years we scale it to $1 million business, the struggle of learning a new language, the struggle of figuring out how to travel abroad, the struggle of building a house with your own hands. We want positive struggle. We don't want struggle of pain. We don't want struggle of nigger shit. We don't want that. We have done that. We have paid our dues, and for us to still be in that season is unacceptable. It's a slap in the face of people that put that work in. Okay? Niggas speak so positively about white supremacy. The term itself, white supremacy, is the ultimate compliment. When you attach the word white, which based on Webster's dictionary means incapable of a moral impurity, right? Innocent. When you attach it with supremacy, which is authority, which is sovereign, high moral character, that's what it means to be supreme. When you attach white to supremacy, that is a compliment. But that's the language of a nigger. You don't even know the words that you're using. You're dealing in fantasy. So white supremacy means something in your mind, but when you say it, all it does is reinforce the boogeyman. And all it does is keep you inside of that bubble and keep you schizophrenic and paranoid, never truly tapping into the reason why you came to this planet for. The third step of creating niggers is program the language. And it's a good job being done right now. I'm going to sip my drink and I'm going to put my pinky up. fourth step for creating a nigger. This is very important. The fourth step for creating a nigger is program the nigger to mate emotionally. Ooh, this is so big. This is big right here. This is probably the most important one. Program the nigger to mate emotionally. If you mate and have a child because you like somebody, that is the root of nigger behavior. You don't mate based on feelings. You mate based on skills. Example, a guy sees a girl, right? And he noticed that she has incredible hand-eye coordination. All right? She notices that, wow, this girl has effective listening and effective communication skills. He noticed that this girl does archery. He noticed that this girl is a physical specimen, an athlete. She might be smart to mate with because you may produce a child that takes on her characteristics. Or if you find a man that's a physical specimen, he can lift, but he's also intelligent. He has effective communication. He has experience running businesses. He's a college graduate. He has a skill set and he adds value to the marketplace. So the probability of your child picking up those characteristics are bright, right? Right? You don't mate based on your feelings. You don't have a baby by a guy because you like him. What the fuck? That shit is so fleeting. You like him on Friday and then you're angry with him on Tuesday. No. You mate strategically. You know, I heard Farrakhan say one time, 3 things that black people don't know: the science of war, the science of business, and the science of mating. And in his lecture, which I totally agree with him, he said that black folks mate from the waist down, and other groups of people mate from the neck up. Black people don't know how to mate. And what's happening is a lot of derelict children are being born to people that should be sterilized. Now, who's going to tell you the truth about that? Let me say it again. The majority of black America needs to be sterilized until you get your life together. And I'm not talking about any material shit. I'm talking about the inside of you. How do we continuously keep breeding these fucking monsters? Monsters. We don't want to accept that. But goddamn it, I have one child for a reason. For a reason. Why would you have a fucking bunch of kids right now? Why would you make that move? Now, if you was married or you was in a relationship and the guy died or he left, I understand. But listen, if you don't plan on staying with the person you have a baby with, don't fucking have a kid. And the interesting thing for guys, a guy will take more care on his car than he does of picking a woman to have a baby with. A guy is real meticulous when it comes to his car. You know what I'm saying? The rims that he picks, the stereo that he picks, the engine, the Hemi. A nigga is very precise and strategic when it comes to picking a car. But when it comes to picking a woman to have a baby with, that knowledge escapes him. And then when she acts fucking retarded after the baby's born, then he's like, oh man, this bitch is crazy. Da-da-da. Well, you wouldn't have thought that if you took more time in studying the woman that you have a baby with, the same way you was meticulous about studying your car. There is nothing that in this culture that makes me confident that says we should bring more babies into this culture. These people need to be sterilized. We don't need to get our birth rate up. We can't do shit with the people that we got now. So we're going to produce more babies, and what? We need government to write legislation to give us special interests. We're not ready. These people are too broken, too gone to keep producing fucking kids. That's not what life is about. The earth does not need you to produce kids. You never got a tap on the shoulder from the planet and was like, please produce children. It's not about that shit. It's about getting your life together. So if you can delay childbirth until you know exactly who you are, that's smart. That's smart. Get to know the person that's sitting next to you before you go half on a baby, because that is a economic decision, because when your baby is born, it's going to need things. Then you have to think about the contribution of the child. What kind of adult are you going to be? Come on. No, these people need to be sterilized. It's some babies that are being born that should be aborted. Kill them all. Let them stay on the other side. They do not need to come here. Do them a favor and don't bring them into this world in this chaotic shit, and you ain't got no plan, and you and the dude ain't gonna stay together. Don't do this shit. You feel me? Let them stay on the other side. A living dog is better than a dead lion. The scriptures say, blessed are the people that have never came here. Blessed are they. They're blessed. Are the souls that never came to this reality. So why be selfish and bring them here into this bullshit and you ain't got nothing for them? The science of mating eludes the nigga. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, no matter how bad people are doing, they are going to have a kid. That shit is weird to me. No matter how bad people are doing, they're going to have a kid. Okay? Niggas don't mate based on skills. Niggas mate by recognizing dysfunction in a other person. That's the connection. They have a problem with their family. You have a problem with your family. You went to jail. They went to jail. You from poverty. They from poverty. And this is what people mate on. Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you just like me. You have dysfunction in common, but not skills. What can both of y'all do in the marketplace? Because that's what it's about. You can't mate off dysfunction, yo. Trust me, I've done it. It was a terrible decision. I fucked with a girl that was hurting just like me. And I thought I was in love. But what I was doing was falling in love with her demons. Right? But when it was time to do some work, though, we couldn't get no work done. We was terrible for each other. She was hurting, I was hurting. And we tried to form a union based on her. Yo, no. Delay childbirth as long as you can so you can get right. Delay childbirth so you can get into the position where you know thyself, because parenting is a skill set. It is a science. And developing a human. You know what I'm saying? The fourth step of creating a nigger, is to teach them to mate emotionally. People mate based on how they feel and not what they think. Do you understand? So what happens is niggas mate and their baby is a product of the state. Okay? And that baby is going to display behaviors that makes the American corporation money through insurance, through going to jail. That's what the nigger factory is. The black woman's womb. And the fucking black man is the warden. The black woman's womb is the nigger factory. And the black man is the warden. This is where all this shit is coming from. That fucking womb. That shit needs to be closed down for like 10 years. And people need to delay childbirth for a minute. Put a lock on that shit for a second so we can try to figure out the gene pool and figure out how to make some real race corrections. You know what I mean? Hitler wanted to get to the top of his race. I understand. You know what I'm saying? I understand what Chairman Mao did in China. We need some type of dictatorship to remove this. People don't got that kind of stomach. But if you really want to improve the lives of black people, you have to think like Thanos. Thanos was right. We gotta shit. If I'm part of this shit, so the whole can be, then have at it, nigga. Thanos was right though. You gotta press the button and have a wave just come through and just take niggas up out of here that can't contribute to that. It's business, yo. It's business. When you come, if you are a new person that takes over a company, the first thing you try to do is you try to cut costs. You do layoffs. You look at where the money is allocated to, and you cut that shit off, right? You gotta look at the books. Where are we allocating money to, right? So when you looking at this culture, you gotta look at the bottom part and say, yo, you know what? We gotta have a wave through. We gotta fucking make the decision, because whatever God that's running this shit is taking too long. You know what I'm saying? You never told God is taking too long. He ain't sending a flood to get rid of these niggas. It's taking too long. So we gotta take matters in our own hands. So this drink that I'm drinking is Tito's Midori Creme de la Banana, which is very good. It's a liqueur. And pineapple is very tasty. Got my cape on right now. But what black children become is state product. State product. See, America loves the nigga factory because capitalism is at its best when the nigga is dysfunctional. So, like W.E.B. Du Bois said, it's going to be some, like 10% of blacks, they're really going to make a contribution. But for the most part, the 90%, the nigger factory, they're just going to cut up. But that gives police jobs, though. That gives funeral homes jobs. Yo, to own a funeral home in a black community, that shit is so profitable. These niggas gonna kill themselves, right? To be in the trauma unit getting bullets out of people, the nigger factory is fueling people's lives. Police, firemen, these niggas is going to cut the fuck up. And when they cut up, it makes people money. The prison industry, right? There was a rumor, that's what it was, a rumor that Michael Jordan had owned prison stocks. It was a rumor. Niggas didn't fact check that. But let's just say that he did. That's a businessman. How are you mad at him for owning stocks in prison when you go there? Don't go there. And this is a person that's been to prison. So, I'm a felon. I did some dumb shit. I got caught. I can't be mad because a person is making money off me fucking getting caught. That's the sweetest bet going around, because guaranteed niggas can't control themselves. So if you want to make money, why wouldn't you hedge your bet on the fact that these niggas are gonna fuck up? See, listen, that's why we lose in the game, because of emotions and the romance. Because check this out. It's a guarantee that niggas are gonna fuck up. It's a guarantee that niggas can't control themselves, because it's a program. You can't control yourself. You are going to fuck up. So why wouldn't a person put their money in a place where it's a guarantee you're gonna fuck up? Somebody gotta come up. I'm just saying. And I've been to jail, and somebody made money off me. I can't be mad at them. That was me. I took a penitentiary chance and lost. Because guess what? If it would have came through for me, I would have been standing on couches, popping bottles, getting it in, doing all that. So, it is what it is. Somebody made some bread off me. Somebody made a bread off me because I fucked up. That's the fucking game. No one owes me shit. And I don't see the world in a romantic way. This shit is checks and balances. This is capitalism. People trying to make money out here. And if I'm fucking up and somebody can make money out here, I understand. It's the game. Yo, that's why I wrote the ebook Dealings Over Feelings. Make sure you cop that ebook. Put your dealings over your feelings. That's what this is about right here. Right? Nigga babies are worth trillions because backwards lifestyles produce a return on investment. Contrary to popular belief, homicide is not the number one killer of black people every year. I know you've been thinking that. You've been probably you've been probably thinking that all we do is kill ourselves. No, sir. The number one killer of black people every year is heart disease, cardiovascular diseases. I think that's right. That's heart, right? Yeah. Right? Heart attacks, heart disease. Now, it's people that make money off that. Lifestyle choices. Now, if you're in a black area, go to the supermarket and look in the cart. Look at the cart. Look inside of the cart and go to a black supermarket. Okay? Now, that shit right there is giving doctors money. Right? All the prescription pills. Nigga behavior is $1 trillion business. Nobody wants niggas to behave. This is where the money's at. So, when a person, excuse me, when a person comes through and quote unquote tries to wake niggas up, you know why they get killed? Because you fucking people's money up. Fuck you doing, man? We need these niggas to misbehave. Nigga, you say something again, we gonna whack your ass. Fuck all that hotep shit you talking about, nigga. We need these niggas to cut the fuck up. We got money in this shit. We need these niggas to have retarded babies. We need these niggas to kill each other. We need these niggas to act a straight donkey. We got money on them. They can't control themselves. So when you come through trying to quote unquote wake the people up and change their behavior, nigga, they gonna clip your motherfucking head because the American nigga factory is a gross domestic product. Born and raised in America, baby. And it exports globally. Look at hip hop. That's a global. Make sure you like and share the video too. That's a global export. America's gross domestic product is niggas. So when someone comes through talking that poor righteous teacher shit, they make you an offer you can't refuse. See, the thing that's interesting about the European, they just don't take your shit. They always come with an offer. Always an offer. And you either accept the offer or you don't. And if you don't, that's your head. But they always come through gentlemen first before they take your shit. Right? You might be sitting on your property might be sitting on oil. They come through and make you an offer. Well, nigga, I'm not selling. But you don't got no military, though. Next thing you know, now you're dead and didn't get no money. Right? So when a person comes through and they're talking that poor righteous teacher shit and I'm doing it for the people. And if they could get the people to make behavioral changes, they are a threat and they will die. Facts. Because America makes money off dysfunctional nigga behavior. You need these kids to cut up. People get money putting them on prescription pills, Ritalin and shit like that. You need the black woman to have 10 kids and get them on the system. Trust me, people are making money off the welfare state, yo. People are making money off people being in Section 8. They need niggas to live a retarded backwards lifestyle so they can make money. You feel me? They're not worried about good blacks like Ben Carson and Herman Cain. They're taxpayers. They love him. It's great. These niggas pay taxes. So you're gonna have that class. You know what I'm saying? But the real money comes from niggas though. And guess what? People condone nigga behavior. And what you tell me is, yo, that's white supremacy's fault. No, that's not, man. These niggas want to cut up. These niggas cut up every fucking chance they get. Okay? So that's the fourth step. These nigga babies produce fucking money because they're retarded. They don't know how to act. Right? They're in special ed classes. Right? Like I said, you really want to make some money? Open up a funeral home in the hood. These niggas gonna keep you in business. So now you got to make a decision. You got to make a decision, especially if you're a man and you're married and you got kids, right? And you got a little bit of money. Do you want these niggas to stop killing each other so y'all can be united, or do you want to make some money? You gotta make that choice, because everyone else is making hard choices and they're getting to the money. So you gotta decide. You want in on that action, because these niggas are going to kill each other over the dumb shit too. Not even it ain't even over no bread. Right? Niggas killing over pussy, niggas killing over gossip and getting unfollowed on social media. Like, oh, word, this nigga unfollow me, nigga, I'ma whack that nigga. Yo, check it out, bro. You wasn't gonna be shit anyway. You in the way. Somebody gonna make money off that. It's a harsh truth. You know what I'm saying? That fucking funeral home is a gold mine. Right? Anywhere, anytime niggas are misbehaving, it's a gold mine. And it's a time, it's a chance for you to get money. Just like in the movie The Big Short. Someone made money off the housing crisis, right? They hedged their bets that it was going to fuck up, and they made billions of dollars or hundreds of millions. There's a movie called The Big Short. It got Christian Bale in it. Anytime there's dysfunction, someone is going to make money. Now you got to decide, are you part of the experiment, or are you the scientist conducting the experiment? If you're the scientist conducting the experiment, then you want niggas to act crazy. Because you're going to make money off it. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's capitalism, right? What you do is you focus on the talented and don't focus on the people that just ain't got a shot. Make money off it, nigga. And if you feel compassionate, that's cool. Cry, drop a tear while they put the money in your pocket, right? You put your hand out, they put the money in it, and you could cry. But when you turn around, just wipe your face, right? That's the game. You know what I'm saying? Nah. What I fear for my life? Nah. I'm not a threat, man. You know what I'm saying? The thing about it is information is public right now. There are no threats, because if you can't affect capitalism for real, ain't nobody a threat right now. You know what I'm saying? Because the Matrix done seen every algorithm. It's seen Malcolm X, it's seen Elijah Muhammad, it's seen Noble Drew Ali, it's seen Marcus Garvey, it's seen Paul Robeson, it's seen Tupac, it's seen Black Liberation Army. So the Matrix is not tripping, because it has an algorithm and a response for any kind of disruptance. Now, for those that do disrupt the system, it will come by way of computer hacking. If you're not computer savvy or IT savvy, then you're not a factor. That's the revolution now. People being able to hack grids, shit like that. And if you're not that, then that's the revolution, right? What we always think somebody is being targeted. You know what I'm saying? Nobody being targeted. Cat Williams is not being fucking targeted. He's a comedian. He can't affect interest rates, and he doesn't know how to tap into a fucking power grid. Why would he be targeted? We always think people are more important than what they are. Oh, they're dropping knowledge and truth. Every single thing is public record. If I want to know about Freemasonry rituals, it's a book on it. There is no fucking secrets whatsoever. All you gotta do is Google the right language. Google is God. Ain't nobody a threat, yo. Everybody's email is tapped. Everybody's phone is tapped. No one's a fucking threat. The only threats there are those that understand the dark web and know how to computer hack. That is the only fucking threats. But a person talking shit, niggas ain't gonna listen to you anyway. So it don't matter. And it don't matter if you get rich, because money is not power. You could just buy shit. Real power is bloodline. Right? So it don't matter. Nah, so I don't fear for my life. I'm not a threat. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to bring the system down. I'm trying to give me some money. I don't want to, fuck no. Don't you bring this system down before I get my money. Fuck that. I'm pissed off. Like, before I get my cut, all of a sudden they want to drop a nuke. Nigga, I'll be mad as hell. Let me get my shit first. Let me whip the Bentley, nigga. Let me cop the property in Malibu. Let me stimulate my root chakra before you fuck this shit up. Don't fuck it up when I'm trying to ball. Let me get my shit, and then, nigga, you could do whatever. But I'll be mad as hell if this shit fuck up when what I'm trying to do. Nigga, I ain't trying to bring the system down. I don't have a problem with the system. Nigga, it makes me a better person. I gotta figure this shit out. I'm trying to get my just due. I'm trying to island hop, passport stamps, nigga, eat good, fuck good, smoke good, sleep good, drive good, live good, and let it be 100, nigga, with a big ass beard that's gray, and hopefully I still got my hair. Fuck that shit, nigga. Nigga, and be 100 years old and fuck 30-year-old chicks, nigga. That's boss. I'm trying to live. That's what I came to this planet for. I'm gonna be mad as hell if somebody wanna do a fucking revolution when I'm trying to get it. Nigga, fuck that shit, nigga. Take that shit somewhere else, nigga. My root chakra is active. You feel me? So, the fourth way of creating a nigga is program the nigga to mate emotionally. Make sure you like and share the video. We gotta get them likes up. We gotta get them likes up, man. Run them likes. I should see little thumbs flying across the screen, nigga. Don't play with my likes. Run them likes, nigga. That's dopamine. That shit is like cocaine. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Dealings Over Feelings is an ebook. You know what I'm saying? It's an ebook. Run them likes, man. Let me see some thumbs going up. You know what I'm saying? So, the fifth step of creating a nigga is program the nigga to be allergic to being industrious. Program the nigga to be allergic to be industrious. You know what I'm saying? Niggas are anti-industry. I'm going to explain what I mean by that. Because the nigga has no concept of time, niggas are stuck in a childlike state, always focused on pleasure and play instead of building. I'm reading from my notes, okay? A nigga is stuck in a childlike state, always focused on pleasure and play instead of building. Yo, have you ever been to New York City or LA or Chicago? Like Chicago and New York specifically, because they got an ill skyline. You know what I'm saying? Root chakra queen. I heard that shit. Pop that motherfucking bullet. Okay, let me see. I still got the nigger in me. See, my nigger comes out every now and then. It's like a full moon, like a werewolf, and I be having the urge to do dumb shit, and I gotta control it. Like my nigger comes out like at full moon at certain times of the calendar, and I just get that itch. But I just control it. It be trying to come out of me, right? Just it's in me. Go to Fiverr. Go to Fiverr.com and people there can help you with the logo. Fivver. Go to Fiverr. People can help you with a logo. The nigger is stuck in a childlike state. This is why they used to call black men boys back in the day. They used to use the term boy, right? They used to use the term boy because a nigga was stuck in a childlike state with no concept of time, always focused on pleasure and play. Now, think about the black man right now. Not all, but a lot, right? Not all, but a lot. Oh, fuck that. My bad. I'm a little faded. If anybody can help the brother with a logo, he's looking for a logo. If anybody does that, help him out. He's looking for a logo. So network if you know how to do a logo for him, right? My bad. I redirected you somewhere else. My fault. If anybody can help him with a logo, reach out to him. The nigga doesn't understand time. Always focused on pleasure and play instead of building. Now, if you pay attention to black men right now, the black men right now are focused on play and pleasure, not building. I know this for a fact. Niggas that look inside their phone and send messages to other dudes, nigga, I'ma fuck you up, pussy. That's pleasure and play. That's the same thing little boys do on the schoolyard over G.I. Joe. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, I'ma fuck you up. That's not industry. Listen, the fact that Soulja Boy got so much attention, niggas thought what he had to say was so profound. That tells you right there that the standard in this culture is low as fuck. He said on Complex Magazine, now this is people that's focused on pleasure and play, right? He said, yo, I'm a black entrepreneur. Cut me some slack. What business tells you to cut them some slack? Only in black culture. Only in black business do we cut a business some slack. No, sir. You come correct or you don't. Don't cut me no slack on my business. How the fuck am I going to get my shit together? He said, cut me some slack. I'm an entrepreneur. What? No, you don't cut nobody's no slack in the marketplace. You come correct. Yo, Chick-fil-A, I don't know what the fuck Chick-fil-A puts in their food, but they come correct every time with their customer service and them goddamn nuggets. I don't know what the fuck they put in their food, man. It's always the same, whether you taste it in California or taste it in the East Coast. Customer service the same, nuggets the same, waffle fries is the same. They're not cut, no slack is being cut. You either come correct or don't come at all. He said, yo, I'm an entrepreneur, black entrepreneur, cut me some slack. And what that looks like globally is these guys are boys. Cut you some slack? Yo, you have to come correct in the marketplace or don't come. Why do we always need affirmative action? Why do we always need slack cut for us? Why do we always need concessions? That's a diss. Yo, cut me some slack. Why? Because we never could come correct? Because we don't know what it means to be industrious? What kind of people you following? You know how ruthless John Rockefeller was with the monopoly and Standard Oil? Did you watch Men Who Built America when he battled Cornelius Vanderbilt? What about Andrew Carnegie and Steele? Cut you some slack? No. If I put out some bullshit product, tell me I put out some bullshit product, and what I'll do is go back to the drawing board and make sure it's right. Don't cut me no slack. If I put out some bullshit, don't because I'm black, you be passive because yeah, you know how nigga go. Nah, I'm trying to perfect my shit. And if you are a dope customer, you'll say, yo, bro, I fuck with you, but your last shit, okay, what's wrong with it? Let me go back to the drawing board to perfect the shit. Because I guarantee you, whoever made Krispy Kremes, motherfucker, they perfected that shit. Because you can't eat one Krispy Kreme donut. That's a fact. They perfected that shit. And you perfected through your customers talking to you. You know what I'm saying? You know? She said, slaves built America. See, the thing about it is, here's the fucked up thing about history, though. The workers aren't remembered, right? It's the minds that went into it that are remembered, right? Who built the pyramids? You'll never know. All you'll hear about is the pharaohs. That's the game. No one knows the workers that helped with Grand Central Station. You just know Cornelius Vanderbilt did it. That's the game. See, me personally, like, if I'm working on some big shit, I want to be the name, the designer of it. Because if I'm the worker, I'm going to get lost in the history. I don't want to get lost in the history. I don't want to be, nothing wrong with the labor force, but I have to make a dent in this shit so when the story is told, my name is mentioned with the legends. right? People always talk about who built the pyramids. No. Who designed the pyramids? Who designed them? I don't want to know who built them. That's the workers. No disrespect to them because they have their role. But who designed them? Who's the mastermind that put it on paper? Because what they're doing is executing what the designer put down. That's just the facts of it. So America remembers the designers. They don't remember the slaves. That's fucked up, but that's the game. Same with everybody working a job. If that company if that company produces 10, 15, 20% profits, the workers are not going to be remembered. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Benjamin Banneker, who was a designer. Benjamin Banneker was a designer, so shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about me is that's what I mean about like the black culture thing, right? If the white man took knowledge, then I want to be related to the people he took the knowledge to build it from. I don't want to focus on the builders because we always kind of come from a bottom approach when it comes to things. We want to come from the victorious approach. We want to come from the standpoint of the victors, not necessarily the slave. So I don't give a fuck who built it or anything, because as long as they were living, then I have access to their memory. So any living thing that's ever been on this planet is an ancestor. You know what I'm saying? Any living thing that has walked this planet or breathed air is an ancestor. Anything. Ancestry isn't just blood. Ancestry is also energy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But I feel you though. I feel you. But I'm going to get to that because I'm more concerned with the mystery more than the history. So it's hard to give props to nameless people because history doesn't remember the nameless. History gives props to those with names, right? That's just the way it goes. I'm talking about history. So I can't pour a libation to nameless people. You know what I'm saying? So, but Benjamin Banneker, I seen his almanac in the African American Museum. Now, you know what's crazy about Benjamin Banneker? This is the ill shit about Benjamin Banneker. Because somebody's lying. They say Benjamin Banneker bought his freedom. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, if he was a former slave, where did he get money from, right? So Benjamin Banneker is making these almanacs and shit, right? Where did he get that knowledge from? So if his daddy had it and their grandfather had it, that means they are something that y'all didn't teach us. Now, after Reconstruction, American history was told another way. I seen a documentary on YouTube called Slaves with Swag. That's the title of it. Check that out. Slaves with Swag. And it was a brother teaching it. And what he was talking about was like, yo, we got history upside down. Basically saying we was always bosses. Even in a slave state, we had money. In fact, some slaves would loan their so-called masters money because those slaves would go to different plantations with different skill sets. See, after Reconstruction, history got told upside down. So it took melanated people out of government. It took melanated people out of land ownership, right? That slave story is not fucking true. You know what I'm saying? There's truth in it, but that's not the whole story. It did not happen like that. That did not happen like that. When you look at Moorish history and the Friendship Treaty and you look at the Iroquois Confederacy, you know what I'm saying, and their constitution, yo, there's some lies going on, because you can't tell me that people got free in 1865 and then by 1880 with the Freedmen's Bank, all of a sudden millions of dollars is in the bank. Like, what the fuck? I thought these people was illiterate. How they know how to count all of a sudden? How does Benjamin Franklin, not Benjamin Franklin, but Frederick Douglass know how to use that language? How does directly after 1865, you have 2,000 black men participating in politics? Somebody lying. Then all of a sudden, 40 years later, they build Black Wall Street. But here's the thing, Black Wall Street was dual nations. Well, this is what they don't tell you. Many of the residents of Black Wall Street came from the Trail of Tears. That was a lot of Native and African mix, a lot of indigenous and African blood mix. Okay? They came from the Trail of Tears. And to this day, Oklahoma is still known as Native country. Just getting in my bag a little bit, you know what I mean? But that story is not true. You know what I mean? But my point is, the gist is, the fifth step to creating a nigga is to make the nigga anti-industrious, to keep the nigga in a playful state. And when you look at the state of black men in America are always in a playful state, always in like a boyish state, never fully grown. Right? And then we do a bad job talking about manhood. A man is supposed to protect and to provide. Anytime you use supposed in anything, you're dealing with fantasy. That means you have no archetype. Right? You have no archetype. Now, the majority of black America lives in the South. And the majority of black America is religious. Now, so let me come from a religious perspective. If Adam was the first human being, what characteristic male human being? If literally, let's take it literal. If Adam was the first human being and he's the first man, right? Did he protect and provide? Did he show leadership? If he's the first man, actually no, he didn't. If his lady got him to eat the fruit and he had direct communication with God, but his woman got him to get off track. So right there, if we take that for an example, then Adam is not a protector and a provider, and they say that's our descendant. Okay? So the so-called first man that ever lived does not have a history of protecting and providing, and he doesn't have a history of a journal. So the characteristics of man lives in the minds of people is fantasy. That's why they say suppose. A man is supposed to lead, supposed to provide. You don't talk about a lion in that manner. You don't say a lion is supposed to eat meat, because it does. You don't say a shark is supposed to smell blood and water, because it does. You don't say an eagle is supposed to fly, because it does. But when you talk about a man, you use the word suppose. Why? Because that's fantasy. You don't know what a man is. You don't know what a man is. This is why you say a man is supposed to lead. Lead where? Leadership is not negative or positive, right? But the first man, according to people's religious beliefs, his woman was leading. She gave him an option and he took it. Adam did not show any fucking leadership whatsoever. In fact, when the Creator came into the garden, Adam blamed the woman. He said it was the woman that you gave me. So not only is Adam not a leader or a provider, he's a punk too. But this is the descendants. So what is a man supposed to do again? If that's the first man, if he's the original, he does not show the characteristics of what y'all talking about a man is supposed to do X, Y, Z. Where do you get that from about what a man is supposed to do if that's the first, according to scripture? Seems like the woman was leading in that situation. Interesting. The fifth step of creating a nigger is to make the nigger focused on play and pleasure. Play and pleasure. Look at the state of black America and the males. The males are focused on play and pleasure, not being industrious, not building, not infrastructure. Yo, I pay attention to niggas with money. What do they do with their bread? They don't build. You suppose archetype. I can't even use that shit. The purpose of money is to take the money and build. Use your money to build industry and institution. The rappers are not doing that. You create curriculum. Yo, you been to New York or LA, you see those skyscrapers, yo? You been to Chicago? You look at those fucking skyscrapers. That came out of someone's mind. It is imperative for a black man to be industrious. You must build industry and institution. You feel me? But the fifth step of creating a nigger is to make the nigger allergic to industry. You have black men right now that believe if they try to do something, it won't work because a white man is going to undermine them. Oh man, they're going to just take it anyway. By the way, the drink that I made, let me give you my recipe. Tito's vodka, fire. I'm a mixologist too. You want creme de la banana, fire. You mix it with Midori. You top it off after you use the pineapple. But you gotta measure it right. You just can't just go, it's an art to this. You just can't go pouring shit heavy. You gotta get you something like this. And you gotta measure it correctly. This side is 1 ounce, this side is 1.5 ounces. Right? It's a science to this. FYI, if you just want to know what I'm drinking, you want to be nosy and shit. Right? Be industrious. You know what I'm saying? That shit is important. What are you building with your hands? What are you creating? We live in America. America is known for industry. America is known for people using their mind to create phenomenal shit. That's what it's about. You must be industrious. But the fifth step of creating a nigger is make the nigga allergic to being industrious. Okay? You get some money in your pocket, the first thing you think of, man, how can I multiply this money? Man, how can I put this shit into projects? And the dope thing about America is you can fall flat in your face and be bankrupt and start again. It's not like that everywhere else. You can fall down and start again. You can fall down and start again. You could go for broke and start again. You feel me? That's what it's about. That's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. Be industrious. And the women support black men that are industrious. You ask him what he got going on, and if he starts talking about infrastructure, don't step in his fucking way. Figure out how you can add to that shit. Industrious. It's bigger than just getting a job, yo. Unless it's some career shit that's about to pay you $170,000, $250,000, it's not about to change your life. Unless it's an internship where you can learn something from some very smart people. You know what I'm saying? Now, I encourage people to take internships. You know, in some cases, you want to work for free if you're under a great mind, because they're able to seed into you and graduate you to the next level. I think that's smart. You feel me? But support that shit. Support industrious people. People with big ideals and that are willing to take the risk and the sacrifice. All right? The sixth step in creating a nigger. Make accountability uncomfortable. Make accountability uncomfortable. Make a nigga's entire existence seem like an accident. Like, I'm just here. I'm here for the B cause instead of the cause. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for the B cause instead of the cause. You feel me? The thing about the nigga is anti-accountability. A nigga could leave his kids and say, you know what, and come up with an excuse. It's always the man. Oh, they got generational wealth. That their parents left them that. Like, this is a culture that looks down on great parents. Your parents did that for you. That's what the fuck they were supposed to do. That's the science. That's what parents do. You leave shit to your children. Right? But the nigga is anti-accountable. The nigga is anti-accountability. This is a culture that says, you know what? Black women kicked black men out of the home so they can get on welfare. Like, kicked them out the home. Now, when I hear something like that, I think of them, first of all, ain't no one kicking me out of shit where my babies are. Now, if you said black women called the police on black men, then I understand. But to say that black men were kicked out the home by women. So basically what you're saying is he came home from work one day, came in the crib, and she was like, nigga, you got to go. Fuck that. Really? With his babies there? And he said, okay? Nah, yo. That's accountability problems. What really happened is many black men were in war at Vietnam. And many black men were out the home, okay? Some in the streets. And they came through with that welfare shit. And when they propositioned black women, black men were not around. And it seemed like a good fucking deal. So many black women took the shit. These niggas didn't get fucking kicked outside the home. Yes, black women was incentivized to take the deal. But if you was a dude and you came home and your woman was like, yo, you gotta leave. But another part of the game is people tried to work the system and it backfired on them. Okay, so in some couples they was like, fuck it, yeah, go ahead and do it. We could get some extra money. But what they didn't understand is the welfare state was going to undermine their productivity. Right? You from the trap, you know what it is. They come through with an opportunity like that. You and your chick, y'all fucking figure out a way y'all could finesse the system. But you don't know that in the long run, it winds up deactivating your greatness because it creates a dependency. Now you're expecting that little money to come through every month, and it takes your hustle away. So no black men weren't kicked out the home. Some black men was involved in the decision of getting welfare because they thought that they could work the system. He said, fuck it, don't put my name on a lease. Don't tell nobody I live here. But that shit end up backfiring though. Right? The reason why I'm even talking about this is because we need to be accountable for the situation that's going on in our lives. It has nothing to do with the bullshit that we were taught. We need to be totally accountable for the things that are going on in our lives. And you look very fucking weak by repeating that the fact that you were kicked out the house by your woman. Like, strong men in other nations look at you like a fucking clown. Like, so you came home one day and a woman was like, yo, you need to get out of here. With no police backing? Are you serious? With your babies? So when you got kicked out the house, where did you go? Where did you go and what did you tell people? Yeah, man, my lady kicked me out. Well, for what? Because she wanted to get welfare. And you left? And you left, though. Sir. The sixth way of creating a nigga is to make the nigga anti-accountability. That's important. We have no accountability from this culture. In this culture, if you see an area in Black America and people are killing each other, we will say, "Well, we don't bring guns there." Yo, you know you don't have to use it, right? We don't bring crack to the hood. We don't bring coke to the hood. We don't own boats. You sold it and used it. You sold it and used it. How come everything the Matrix throws at niggas lose? Like, there's never a history of the Matrix trying to get niggas off their square and they survive it or they pivot away from it. It's always losing. Man, just school to prison pipeline. Yo, you know you can homeschool. You don't have to do that. Oh, Monsanto, they poisoning the food. Yo, you can eat cleaner, right? You don't have to take that route. Oh man, the white man, they got a head start on us. Do you know that you can be the person to start your family right now? I'm just saying. That's fucked up. We got to stop the bullshit. Accountability. If you lost, just say you lost. Say you didn't plan, right? By that way, you keeping it real and being honest, somebody might come into your life and seed into you and say, you know what? I see you. I believe with my help, you can make it further. But niggas don't want that kind of shit. Niggas want special interests. Niggas want legislation. You got to be accountable for your life. No matter what cards you were dealt, you got to be accountable for how your life turns out. Because if you're not, you're going to be stuck with excuses and unused desires. And then what you're going to do is end up repeating this life again. Because you're going to die with shit on your mind. The 7th step to creating a nigger is make the nigger fear the unknown. Make the nigga fear the unknown. I want to read this comment. The brother says, I think it's a bro. He says, we have to understand that this new civilization was coined by the white man. If we define ourselves by the industries of the system and do not create our own, we will always be running a rat race. It's not about money because the white men have the printer to print all the money value. It's about control. We need to focus on self-worth and stop identifying with lack. I can go with that. But the white man doesn't control money, though. The Rothschilds and the DuPonts and the elite, it's only a few of them. I can't call them the white man. The average white man in America doesn't have a fucking clue what's going on. So I don't want to give that term, like I like to use names. Who are we talking about? Who has the power to raise interest rates? Who has the power to put the country into a recession? Who has the power to affect GDP? Let's say their name. I don't want to say the white man because what that does is it boosts the self-esteem of a white dude that ain't doing shit. Why boost his self-esteem up? Let's say names. Who are we talking about? Who is the white man? Right? Who is that? Let's say names. Let's follow the money. Are we talking about the Rothschild? Are we talking about the British Crown, the Committee of 300? Who are we talking about? Are we talking about the Vatican? Are we talking about immobility? What are we talking about when we say the white man controls? That's a blanket statement. Let's say names. Who are we talking about? The Shifts? Who are we talking about? Anybody with the last name Stein? Who are we talking about? Gotta say names before we can't continue to make those kind of blanket statements. Oh, the white man system. Who is the white man? Who are we talking about? Because not all white Americans benefit from this system. There's a lot of poor white people. So who is the white man? Who are we talking about? We talking about people at Bohemian Grove? Who are we talking about? Are we talking about Skull and Bones? They got names. Let's name them. Who are we talking about? So we have a point of reference instead of saying the white man. So I won't think the white dude at fucking Starbucks is more special than me. Who are we talking about? The Rothschilds? How do you know someone that hasn't took over? How do you know someone there? How do you know there's not infighting going on and someone has took their place? Right? How will we know? We won't know until somebody from the inside puts a book out. So for all we know, for all we know, the person running the world can be a black shaman in West Africa somewhere that everybody goes to see, and that's who's really running the world. And they make it look like it's some white person. I guarantee you the person running the world is black. I guarantee it. But they don't want you to know that shit. He don't want you to know that shit. I guarantee the person running the world is a black man. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. And he's a fucking goat herder somewhere. like Command in Scandal. And all the elites go to that nigga. And he move bones around and shit and predict the future. I guarantee he's the fucking Oracle. Somebody from the Dogon tribe or some shit. I guarantee it. I bet you. I bet you the people we think run the world don't fucking run the world. I bet you. I bet my life that the person running the world is black. And if black people knew it, then all of a sudden you have no fucking excuse on why your life is shitty. It's a nigga running the world, right? I bet you. The reason, now let me tell you why I believe that. Because things are never what they seem. You always believe the opposite shit. Since we've been alive, people have been lying to us, and the things that we thought was true wasn't true. We was young, and they put milk on the food pyramid and said milk does a body good, but we know milk is pus. We know it doesn't do a body good. Everything we learned is upside down. Up is down, down is up, left is right, right is left. Every single thing we learned is upside down. So if we are living a life thinking that white people run the world, then always believe the fucking opposite of the consensus, yo. It's a nigga somewhere, or an Asian, an old man in a fucking mountain. I'm telling you, it's some type of shaman that's pulling all the strings. And he's a goat herder. And he don't want nobody to know that shit. Because what that would do, if you found out that he was behind everything, yo, take the concept of Scandal serious. Eli Pope was running the fucking country. Where was he working at? At the Smithsonian Museum as a damn paleontologist. That was Command. If you've never seen Scandal, if you don't watch it for nothing else, just pay attention to the small details. It's truth in everything. They can't just come out regularly and talk about things, so they put it in cinema. You know what I'm saying? He was Command. He was running the world. Whoever you think is in charge is not in charge. It's always some hidden shit. I guarantee you it's some shaman sitting in a goat herder somewhere, and all the elites go to see him because he know how to read stars, and he's descended some fucking Lemurian goddamn Palladians or some shit. Trust me. Trust me. Yeah, the black gold, he come from ancient blood. You know what I'm saying? Yo, study the 7 root races. Study the 7 root races. It's people on the planet that are still descendants of those other root races. Alright? So the 6th step in creating a nigger is make the nigga uncomfortable with accountability. Make a nigga's existence seem like it's an accident. Like you never firmly are comfortable. You never firmly grasp your life. You just here for the B cause. You know what I'm saying? You just here for the B cause instead of the cause. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, check out the 7 root races. Madame Blavatsky talked about that in her book. It's very, very interesting. The 7 root races. Old shit. Millions of years type shit. Check that out. Madame Blavatsky talked about the 7 root races. Go on YouTube and type 7 root races and come back and talk to me. You know what I'm saying? All this talk, oh, we're the original man. No, you're not. There's some other shit before you. No, you're not. That's shit that you just tell yourself. It's some shit that goes beyond your understanding. You know what I mean? Type in the 7 root races. And I believe that those 7 root races have offspring, not much, but offspring that's still on this planet. Very, very, very old. Shit. You can read, I think Madame Blavatsky's Secret Doctrine. The Secret Doctrine, Madame Blavatsky might talk about the 7 root races. But if you type 7 root races in, oh, also Manly P. Hall has a great lecture on YouTube. Type, everybody write this down. This is some good homework. Type in Manly P. Hall, the 7 root races. That shit is gonna fuck your head up. Now, who is Manly P. Hall? Arguably considered the #1 Masonic philosopher in American history. Facts. Facts. Manly P. Hall is considered the #1 Masonic philosopher in American history. So his word is on point. Alright? Type in YouTube, thank me later, Manly P. Hall, the 7 root races. Take out your pen and paper and take fucking notes. It's gonna blow your goddamn mind. Black is not the original. That's false. The original is light. The original races that came to this planet didn't have skin. Skin was an evolution. A nervous system was an evolution. Bones were evolution. The original beings on this planet were not, didn't look like you and I. That, like I said, check out the 7 root races. Check out, just don't take my word for it. Just check out the 7 root races. The original beings on this planet did not look like you and I. They were vectors of light. And through evolution and being on this planet, they begin to form bone and nervous system. Okay? Right? Let us make man in our image and our likeness. Now, this is supposed to be a conversation between the creator and other groups, right? Let us make man in our image after our likeness. So this creator blows breath in dirt and forms Adam. But Adam's original state was what? Spirit. Let us make man in our image after our likeness. The great architect that formed this planet did not look like you and I. Okay? They move at a different vibration. But when they breathed that air into that clay, it formed man. But man's original state is the word. That's his original state. The original state of you is spirit. Okay? The original things on this planet are spirit. This is why things exist in the unseen. Everything comes from the unseen. You know what I'm saying? It comes from the unseen. What we have to do is we have to get out of wanting to feel important. You know what I'm saying? We want to feel important. That's our ego. We want to, you know what I'm saying? Black skin came later. You know what I'm saying? Black skin is part of the root races, but it's not the original. The original race is light. You know what I'm saying? The original planet is light. And then it forms skin. But yeah, it's interesting though. Check out Manly P. Hall. I'm giving you one of my resources now. You know what I'm saying? Check out Manly P. Hall, 7 root races. Just put your headphones on and be like, yo, what the fuck? Alright? It's deeper than white and black. That's later. We talking about millions, maybe even billions of history. You know what I'm saying? So, the 6th step in creating a nigger is make accountability uncomfortable. Alright? The 7th way to create a nigger is make the nigger fear the unknown. If you make the nigger fear his own shadow, they will never learn anything new. This is the root of poverty in Black America. Fearing the unknown. Fearing the unknown is the root of Black poverty. Fearing different information. Fearing different people. Not going past your block that you live on. But that's one of the steps to creating a nigger. Make the nigger afraid of his own shadow. instead of studying his shadow. Make the nigger afraid of the unknown. What is the most part that's unknown of a nigger? His essence, his self. His self. Man, know thyself. Black America does not know thyself. They think they're fucking Egyptians. That ain't who you are. You're that shadow right there. The ancestors, that ain't who you are. You're that shadow right there. That's who you are. That's your essence. But you make the nigger fear his shadow. And what that does is keep the Black America from going inward and doing the work and making changes. That's the only place change comes from. The dark inside of you. They call it that triple black darkness. You know what I'm saying? That's where you grow at. That's where you develop at. But what you do is you teach the nigger to stay outside of himself. You know what I'm saying? And not study his shadow. It's your shadow that's going to tell you all the truth that you want to know about yourself. If you could keep the nigger away from his shadow, you keep the nigger from learning and expanding. You got to go in to go out. You got to understand duality. That shadow represents another side of yourself. But that's the one of the steps to keep the nigger from advancing is keep the nigger away from that shadow. If you want to know yourself, you don't study Malcolm X. That's not who you are. If you want to know yourself, you don't study Egyptians. That's not who you are. John Henrik Clark is not who you are. Joel Pookrum is not who you are. You understand? Reading Destruction of Black Civilization, that's great, but that's not who you are. Reading Amos Wilson's Blueprint to Black Power is awesome, but that's not who you are, though. You're not James Brown and you're not Khalid Muhammad. You are something different, something independent. You are that shadow. And the ill thing about to control the nigger is to get him afraid of the unknown, afraid of the shadow. Be afraid of magic. Be afraid of voodoo. Be afraid of talking to the dead. You understand? Be afraid of astrology. Be afraid of the numerology. Right? Be afraid of looking at the stars to understand your life. You know what I'm saying? That's the ill shit that they teach the nigger, to not look at that shadow. You got to look at that shadow to find out who you are, though. Right? So fear the unknown. This is why people always do what they're familiar with. Why? Because they fear the unknown, because the unknown brings uncertainty. The unknown brings a season you quite don't understand. The unknown comes with a new set of mistakes, and people don't want to take that step right there. They don't want no problems with the unknown. You know what I'm saying? But that is the seventh step of creating a nigger. Teach that nigger, program that nigger to look at that shadow and be absolutely, positively afraid. Teach that nigger to act like Fiddler. If you watch the movie Roots, when Kunta Kinte was talking to Fiddler about freedom, Fiddler was born in that state. He could not grasp the concept of freedom because in his mind, this is the way it's always been. Well, it's the same way when you look at that shadow. That shadow represents freedom. That shadow is the key to going back home. And what it does is it allows you to know yourself in your full capacity and be completely honest with the way that you're wired. You are afraid of your shadow. Right? You are afraid of your primal self. You are afraid that you like sex. You are afraid that you're crazy. You're afraid that all that shit that makes you you, you've been trying to dumb it down. You've been trying to prison it. You know what I'm saying? You have been absolutely positively scared of your own nature. You need to learn that shadow. Baby girl, you think you just a freak because you was raped? You was born like that. You've been trying to understand your sexuality. Oh, why am I so nasty? I don't like who I am. Fucking crying, being a punk. Baby girl, go into that shadow. That shadow is the key to your liberation. That's who the fuck you are. Your sexuality is the way that you can navigate through life. You can draw from that shit and convert it, transmute it into potential energy. But you scared of it. Oh, I'm a freak. What's wrong with me? Oh, I like to fuck niggas. Oh. And you don't let these people tell you that something is wrong with you because you like sucking dick. You was born like that. And no matter what you do, you can't change that shit. That's who you are. But what you want to do is don't make that shit a lifestyle. When you get that urge, you embrace that urge and you use that shit, transmute it, and turn it into creative energy. And let that shit out at a strategic time. But don't kill the energy. That's who you are. You was born like that. Upon arrival, you was a porn star. Hey, that shit did not come because you got raped. That's who the fuck you are. You've been a freak in this life. You're going to be a freak in the next life and the next life. It's just who you are. You're just a dick sucker. Make the nigger fear the unknown. If you make the nigger fear the shadow, they will never learn anything new. Period. They will never learn anything new. Alright? Make the nigger fear the unknown. Fear that shadow. You got to look at that shadow. That's the example of Peter Pan. Peter Pan was always playing with his shadow. He was always trying to catch his shadow. And his shadow was always running from him, from himself. You know what I'm saying? That's him. That's the real him. Your shadow is the real you. You got to find that motherfucker. Find that shadow. Okay? Find your shadow. It is important. Find your shadow. Cool beans? The 8th step to making a nigger. This is the last step right here. The last step to making a nigger is program a free person to believe they are a nigger. Program a free person to believe they are a nigger. Program a free person to believe they are a nigger. That's the last step to creating a nigger. Take a free person and convince them that they are a nigger. Now, what does that mean? How does that happen? You replace the mystery with the history. When you born, you represent mystery. And what happens is you become a nigger by embracing the history. By embracing a struggle, by embracing lynching, by embracing Emmett Till. That's all good to observe the history. That's great. Don't get it twisted. That's bomb to observe the history. However, the mystery supersedes the history. You are more important than the history. You are the mystery. That means you have endless potential locked inside of you. And it gets stripped out of you when you subscribe to the history. You are more important than the narrative. I don't know if they ever told you that. I know they told you to put the narrative over you. I know they told you to put the history over you. I'm telling you to put the mystery over the history. I'm telling you that you are way more important than the narrative. You are way more important than the narrative. This is how you become a nigger. You believe you are one. The way that you become a nigger upon arrival is embracing the history. Oh, my ancestors. Boop, you're a nigger. You're a nigger. Who said that was your ancestors? Who told you that? Who told you that was your ancestry? You wanna belong to something so bad that you'll just latch on to any fucking thing. It doesn't even matter. And the funny thing about it, the more pain, the better. You'll latch on to people that been through the most bullshit. That's my ancestors right there. Like, if you had to pick and choose, right? If you had to pick and choose people that are on the beach, sipping Mai Tais, having a great time, laughing, playing spades, enjoying themselves, smoking joints, drinking wine, or people that's getting hung, lynched, beat, barbecued, dissed, bullied. You're gonna pick the people that's getting beat, hung, lynched, bullied, barbecued. You're gonna pick the people that hurt the most. That's what's trained. See, that's the history. Because you don't know if your ancestors was phenomenal or not. You can't even frame an image in your mind of your ancestors doing good. You know what I'm saying? You can't even think about people that didn't go through bullshit. If I asked you to think about your ancestors being industrious, you can't even think about that. The only thing you can see them as is a fucking slave. That's how you become a nigger. The Matrix gives you that story. In fact, I have books from the 1800s. Do you? Do you have any slavery books from the 1800s, 1700s, 1600s? Okay. So, 9 times out of 10, your image of your grandmother being raped came from a movie. 9 times out of 10, your ancestors, 9 times out of 10, you got the vision of the past from a movie. You watched Amistad, you watched Roots, you watched Uncle Tom's Cabin. That's where you got the image from. Now, the thing about a movie is your brain can't differentiate what's real and what's fake. So you don't really know how slavery looked. You got it from a movie. Okay? So, who profits from the lie more? The system, which makes money off blacks being part of the nigger factory? Or you embracing a slave history that you don't know what looked like? You just assume. And any pictures from slavery is a fucking illustration. It's not even a real picture. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying it didn't happen how you think. And why is that important? Because it's important you to buy into the narrative that your grandmother got raped. Let me ask you this. If your grandmother was raped in the 1700s by a white man, and white is supposedly a recessive gene, how come the race hasn't corrected itself? How come you haven't come back dark skinned? And your grandmother was supposedly raped 200 years ago. How's that work? Your grandmother was raped. This is what you believe. That's why your skin is light, right? This is what you believe. Your grandmother was raped in the 1700s by a white man, had children. Those children mated with black people. Then 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 another children mated with black people. How come the race hasn't corrected itself if black is a biological dominant gene? You've seen black women being raped in movies. See, that's what the movie does. The movie makes the shit real. But you don't know what your ancestors were doing for real. Because you don't know your ancestors. You just throw out the term. If I say, what's their name? Name them. How do you have nameless ancestors? If you don't know their name, they're not your ancestor. How do you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying, when you deal with the mystery, anybody could be your ancestor. Anybody that walked this planet, you can tap into their mind frame because their consciousness is still walking this planet. If you want to tap into the mind frame of Einstein, you can. If you want to tap into the mind frame of Attila the Hun or Imhotep, you can, because their consciousness is still on the planet. Right? Their consciousness is still on the planet. So that's who your ancestors is. Any living thing, plants, anything, insects, right? When you see martial arts and they're mimicking animals and they're in praying mantis pose, or they're in tiger pose and they're copying nature, what they're doing is tapping into the consciousness of the fucking animal. You can do the same shit, but remember, one of the steps to creating a nigger was to fear the unknown. You feel me? You can tap into anything on this planet because you are the mystery. But when you tap into the history, you are locked in. You can't move. You know what I'm saying? Your ancestors are whatever they say it is. Whatever you say it is. Because you write the story. So right now, if you go in your journal and you write a history for your ancestors, that history is real because the past is created in the future. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it, Nakia, your lineage is energy. Your lineage is energy. Now, what you're talking about is for politic purposes. Who's going to be the lord of the land? We have ownership to this. That's human affairs. I feel you. But your lineage is energy. Because you didn't come from here. You came from somewhere else. Right? Your soul did not come from the earth. It came from somewhere else. Your energy, when you die, it leaves. Your soul leaves, but your consciousness stays. But the thing that makes you go, that didn't come from here. So your lineage, Nakia, got you. So your lineage is not from here. But the bloodline shit is for who's the landlord, who owns this, for wills and trusts, and that's politics. I understand that. So, you know what I'm saying? But, you can tap into anybody's consciousness. You can tap into anybody's consciousness if they came to this planet because you're the mystery. You know what I'm saying? You got endless potential in you, and it gets stripped from you when you subscribe to the history. The moment you subscribe to the history, there goes your innocence. And what I want to tell you is you are way more important than the fucking narrative, yo. Start thinking like that. There's nothing wrong with being arrogant. There's nothing wrong with being confident. And if you follow this path of this narrative, it's going to take your innocence from you. It's going to take your glow from you. You're going to age like a fucking raisin, a prune. It's going to suck you dry believing this shit doesn't mean you no good. You know what I'm saying? So, that is the 8 ways you create a nigger. Now, the way that you reverse it is you do the opposite of everything I said. So you become an independent thinker, right? You have self-control. Everything that I said, if you want to reverse the curse, then you do the opposite. So you become an independent thinker, right? You practice self-control, right? You use effective language, you know what I'm saying, that allows you to navigate and create different worlds, right? You mate efficiently and correctly. You don't be allergic to an industry. You run towards industriousness. You know what I'm saying? And you accept the challenge to build and learn. You could go to YouTube University and learn anything you need to know. Okay? Make yourself accountable. You know what I'm saying? Make yourself accountable. Instead of being unaccountable, be accountable. Right? Don't fear the unknown. One of the things to be a nigger is to fear the unknown. Don't fear the unknown. Go towards that shadow, man. You know what I'm saying? And go back to being a free person. When you were born, you were free. You were free. And that's the most free you ever been on this planet. And you can't remember it because you got too much belief on you. Go back to that and tap into that innocence. And that energy right there is going to allow you to flourish and it's going to allow you to do amazing things. So you want to go back to that. Tap into that shit, man. That's your right. That's your birthright. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Let me see. books in the libraries about our ancestors aren't real. Uh, what we do is uh, we lump our shit together, right? I'm not saying it's not real, but what I'm saying is it didn't necessarily happen like that. You know, things are real is what you want them to be. But the thing about it is, look, yo, if you go for a job interview right now, right, and you put and it asks you your race, right now it says white and there's North African next to it. That didn't used to be there when I was 17 and I filled out a job application on Walmart, right? Now it says white and it says North African. What that's doing is creating the past and the future. We all know no North Africans wasn't there until Ptolemy and Alexander came, right? But what they're doing is they're putting their origins right there, right? Because they're creating the past and the future. So what you can do is do the same thing, and it'll change your life. You can you can create your past in the future. You can rewrite your whole family's history. If you come from a history of dysfunction, you can rewrite the history by creating the past in the future. The future is in the past. The past is in the future. You don't believe me? Watch this. Watch me create the past in the future. It's so simple. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop this pen. Now, I'm talking about the future. Watch it become the past. They are the same. 1, 2, 3. I created the past in the future, right? What I did was say what I'm going to do, and then it became the past. Simultaneously. You can do that shit. The past is in the future. So you can go in a notebook, and you can recreate your whole entire bloodline. Now, what you want to do is you want to find out some great spells in terms of using herbs. Maybe you might need candle wax. You might need to say some mantras to seal the prayer. Okay? But what you can do is create a new future for yourself. The past is created in the future. See, the thing about it is people in ancient times they didn't talk about the past. They talked about the future. Okay, so if you are disgruntled about the parents that you come from, or about your bloodline, or you don't feel like you got a good shot in life, what you can do is recreate that. Write yourself in existence. Write your mother a new history. Write your father a new history. Because the thing about once it becomes part of the paper, you're creating a spell. Our whole system is based on paper gangsters, right? Our whole system is based on words on the paper. When you go to jail, when you're sentenced, you have to sign off on it. When you do a contract, you have to sign off on it. And it makes it lawful. It's legal. It's binding. It's in the ether, right? Feel me? That's how it goes. Anything you do in life comes with a contract. That's your signature. You sign your nature. So if you're unhappy with your mother or your father or your life, use your signature, sign your nature to change the trajectory. And there's no limits to what you can put on the paper. If you feel like you're a millionaire, or your ancestors, the blood ones, you feel like they were millionaires, write it. If your mom was a drunk, if your mom was a crackhead, write her a different history. If your father fell short in terms of being a parent, write him a new history. Say he was an incredible father. Say he always came through for you. Man, do you know what that's going to do to your confidence? It's going to change tomorrow, because the past is in the future. There is no such thing as back then. It's only right now and moving forward. It's only now. That's all it is. All right? So, in closing, make sure you check out my ebook. I put that out in the summer. That's Dealings Over Feelings. What I was talking about today was dealings over feelings. So follow that link. And check out Dealings Over Feelings. It's a great ebook, and it'll help you get your game get your game up. Also, hit me on the Nothing But Game hotline, 888-565-8734. So I broke down the 8 steps of creating a nigger. So make sure you do the opposite. And if it's anything inside of you that represents that, then you want to kill it and you want to move forward and you want to see what life has for you. Now, if I gave you some game and you felt that was dope, fair exchange ain't no robbery. Go ahead and cop that ebook. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't, the best thing you could do is like and share it. Until next time, I'm Ken Billions. I love you, but make sure you love yourself more. Peace.